Coming to you live from Iceworks in Syosset. You're listening to the LI Sports Network's coverage of ACHA M3 hockey. And tonight we have a matchup between Farmingdale M3 and the ACDC Sacred Heart team. We're going to hand it over to the PA announcer for the reading of the starting lineups and the singing or performing of the national anthem. Stick with us here on LI Sports Network. And with the conclusion of the anthem, we are set for action. Once again, from the Syosset Iceworks, I'm Ryan Brannigan, joined alongside my cameraman for this evening, Frank Potato. Coming into this matchup, Farmingdale and Sacred Heart both coming off losses they would look to avenge. For Farmingdale, an 8-0 beatdown on the Northwell Ice Center rink to Sacred Heart University M3. So that is their M3 team, one of the best M3 teams in the country. The 8-0 shutout victory. This here tonight will be the ACDC A team, so one tier below that, but they have fared well against their M3 opponents so far this year en route to a very respectable record coming in. They are coming off a 6-1 defeat at the hands of Anna Maria College. That was their worst defeat of the season. For reference, they went against Stony Brook M3 back on November the 8th and won 10-1 on the rinks in Hauppauge, Stony Brook's home rink. And a quick start here for Sacred Heart. They bank in. It's Edward Jackson banking it around, hoping for the stick of Ryan Walsh. Does escape the zone, and in comes Luke Ferrazzi. A shot save made. That's a save made by starting goaltender Luke Tannenbaum, formerly of Ward Melville. in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League. Plenty of SCHSHL players represented on both sides here tonight. In particular, Farmingdale, but starting netminder, Tannenbaum for Sacred Heart. Banked around there by Jaden Grillo. Still searching for goal number 1 on the back end. Moving in swiftly. DeSaro, a shot over the net. Or pardon me, that's Noah Lavoie. Lavoie, the leading scorer for Farmingdale. 26 points thus far in this season, which is getting into the thick of things. There's a save off the left shoulder of Tannenbaum, and now the puck escapes the zone. Tracking back for number 4 for Farmingdale, Jaden Grillo. Back on the puck here for Sacred Heart, Luke Body. Potential turnover. Puck available in the middle of the ice. Here's a shot, save made, Tannenbaum off the stick of Lavoie. To the far point and escapes the zone. Circling back with it is Manzi. Kevin Manzi. Sends it into the Sacred Heart end of the ice where it's slowed down by Luke Body. This will not have enough for icing. Manzi rips it around the board, settled down, and shot up ice by Castellano. Banked into the Pioneer end of the ice. The Pioneers against the Farmingdale State Rams here tonight. See whether the Pioneer or the Ram get the better of each other. Coming into the zone on the near boards, it was Hunter Maybe. Dropped. Shot toward Tannenbaum, wide of the net, off the stick of Castellano. A shot from the right point, never got through. Cut off in front by Victor D'Erico. Backhanded along by Sacred Heart Sam Wiener. And turned over here by William Hayes. Quickly gotten back, though, by Sacred Heart. They'll send it along for Sean Pohl. Turned over. Now Farmingdale 3-on-2 over the blue. Shot high over the head of Tannenbaum and the net. Squeezed along there by Donnie Pace. Looking for his teammate. That's Tom Ford. Tom Ford's shot blocked in front. And getting in the way of that one was Hayes. Here's L.J. Lena. And Lena will put it through. Right back into the Farmingdale end of the ice for Mike D'Alessandro. And a good lead pass. Springs forward. Tyler Wadaka. Wadaka from the far circle. Shot denied. And we get our first whistle. Nearly 4 minutes through of this first period. A save made by Tannenbaum. So Sacred Heart, as I mentioned, the ACDC A team. It's their third highest tier team on campus. They have an NCAA team. They have, as mentioned, the M3 team. And I believe they have an M1 team as well. Yeah, ACHA M2, M3, pardon. ACDCA. And ACDC B. All represented. Farmingdale, of course, have the M2 team and M3 team this year. Both coming up. Previously playing in the AAU a season ago. As Pavone out to stop it. To be played further here by Mikey Malandrucolo. And banked along for Nick D'Alessandro, but all the way down for an icing. 15:28 left here. Or 26 left here in period number 1. No score yet here in this one. Worked on back to the point. Shot blocked. Trying to chip it to center is Farazi, and now the Rams are offside. They also have a women's club team, do Sacred Heart. Farmingdale State Rams do not have a women's team. And much of that, of course, involved with Title IX. which states that each school must have the same amount of women athletes as male. And Sacred Heart are offside, just a little bit ahead of the blue line there was Jack Kinahan, captain of this team. Kinahan was part of Team Empire during the 2024 AAU College Hockey All-Star Challenge, which took place in Coral Springs, Florida. Wouldn't it be nice to be in Florida? Instead, we have below freezing temps here in Long Island and much across the Northeast as a shot deflects up and out of play. Apologies for the graphic. Not sure what got into it. Anyway, 14:50 and counting. Defensive zone draw win from Sacred Heart. They'll bank to center. Trying to go forwards with it on the left wing side, Brendan Murphy. However, good defense provided by Manzi. Still alive in the zone. That pass to the slot hit a stick out in front. It was DeAndrea who got in the way of it. Back around, the cycle continues for Sacred Heart. And they keep things moving behind Pavone. However, Farmingdale banked to center, and it's Lavoie. Lavoie through the legs of defender Birch, Colin Birch, but ultimately nothing can come of it just yet. And Sacred Heart clear out. Birch off a skate, and it ricochets into the Rams' end. Lena. Off the glass, ahead for Pace. Pace on the forecheck with Castellano on the far boards. Going to work down low. They'll work it back up high for a long shot. Might have redirected in front of Save Tannenbaum. Quickly D to D. Just missed Lena. Down low, a check provided by Farmingdale's Jack Insana. To the blue line, held in, long shot into the chest of Sacred Heart goaltender Tannenbaum. A fitting name for the weather outside. There's no snow, but certainly Arctic out there. Offensive zone draw win by Farmingdale. No shot ever came, and quickly exiting the zone was Hayes. And now back for Kalani. Cut middle, taken away, and away comes Farmingdale. It's Wadaka. Wadaka dangles. He got around body, in behind. Wadaka centers, and not able to have a good stick out in front was Tom Ford. Backhanded in by Jake Paul of Farmingdale. Settling it down behind the net, Wyatt Grondin. Grondin missed his man, and it's intercepted by Grillo. Rams unable to enter the zone. They'll send back in now. Go for a change. Colin Birch trying to initiate a clean breakout. However, nothing clean about this. Nearly a turnover right out in front of goaltender Tannenbaum. Ricochets into the Farmingdale end. And an offsides on Sacred Heart, though. Don't tell them that. They didn't get the memo, so. Faceoff will come all the way down. Face-off to the left of Tannenbaum. Controlled by Farmingdale. Ripped around by Ian Ruberich. Poked along, deflected ahead, but turned over in with speed. A shot save made with the glove by Pavone. As he turns aside, Ryan Van Zyl. Van Zyl, a dance on, probably the best of the night to this point for Sacred Heart on Pavone, who makes the excellent glove save. Right back out of the zone, Lavoie. Lavoie left the puck behind him. Alertly there to pick it up and taking a huge hit into the boards was Luke Lafata, but he pops right back up. The late penalty. It'll go against Sacred Heart on that collision with Lafata. There's quite a rivalry between these teams that has built up over the years. Wouldn't be surprising, especially, again, if you're a Farmingdale Ram, or fan at that matter, just seeing the silver and red of Sacred Heart after that 8-0 loss gotta put some distaste in your mouth, to say the least. We'll face off here to the left of Tannenbaum. First power play of the game. It belongs to Farmingdale, and they'll win the opening draw. Shot far circle block. Lavoie took it. Back for Lena. Ferrazzi. Down low. It's DeAndrea who works his way up high. Goes across to Lavoie. Lavoie back across. Great seam pass. Off the boards. Fired wide by Ferrazzi. So dangerous at that left point. Here is Lena. And a shot blocked. Getting in the way of it. Beyer. Still great job to get it over to Ferrazzi. DeAndrea out in front. Scramble is on and cleared out from in front of the net by Wiener. And now back on to Tannenbaum, who there to make the save. Another save made there by Tannenbaum as we get our scoreboard figured out. 10:27 left here, first period. No score between Sacred Heart and Farmingdale. Farmingdale currently are on the power play and have gotten a couple of good chances on toward Tannenbaum, who has been there to make the saves accordingly. Just 57 seconds left here on the man advantage for the Rams. And a drop pass initiated by Wadika. Now rimmed around by Lena. Caught up on the other side by Riberich. Plays it to Lena. Lena shot through traffic. Never got through. Here's Riberich again. And it gets by Wadika and out of the zone. 25 seconds left, and Farmingdale have iced the puck. Definitely not what you want to do with the power play. With 9:44 left here. In period number one, no score between the Rams and Pios. Listening to Rams ACHA Hockey, M3 here on LI Sports Network. Trying to establish his own, taking a hit in the process. Donnie Pace. Lena kept in, but now it's fired right back out. Pavone out to stop it. First man in, a Sacred Heart member, Thomas Beyer. And Wadika and the Rams called. Face off outside the Sacred Heart zone. DeAndrea to take the draw for Farmingdale. However, it is won by Beyer. Thomas Beyer, the Monroe, firing a shot there. A save made. Great shot from Noah Lavoie. Held in. Play continues as Lafata on a cross. Centering pass intercepted. And a potential break going the other way. Shot denied by Pavone. Rebound wide. Just wide of the net. On a great opportunity for Brendan Murphy. Another shot blockered away by Pavone. Rams trying to jam it out the right board side and the far boards of us, and I believe the puck ended up out of play, or potentially in the equipment. Yes, in the equipment of Rams assistant captain, number 22, Kevin Menzie. 8:35 left here in the first period. Shifted ahead by Malandrucolo, Mikey Malandrucolo for Tom Ford. A shot deflects, hits the glass behind Tannenbaum. Held in by Malandrucolo, rimmed around. Trying to pick it up is Donnie Pace. And Wadika as well. Wadika was the man there. However, flipped to center by the Bios. Skating through center ice. Making a couple of moves is James Sigafus. And deflected in by Mabi. Jake Paul nearly lost control of it. Now will pick it up with speed out of the zone. Through center, Paul. Paul cuts in, and offsides again called against the Rams. Stopping a potential rush into the zone. It's been that kind of a first period, a bit sloppy on both sides of the rink to start. Rams in the near corner. Lose control and sent out by Hayes. Banks into the zone. Here's Pavone out to stop it. Look out. Potential danger. Goes off the glass and to his teammate, who skates out and banks in. And that being Nick D'Alessandro. Puck available in the corner. Backhanding it along Riberich. Hoping for D'Alessandro. Squeezing the wall and keeping things alive. A great keep-in for the moment there, provided by Mark Dellavecchia. However, the puck does escape the zone, comes back all the way down, and now in offsides, assessed to Sacred Heart. And prior to their loss against Anna Maria, Sacred Heart defeated Trinity College by a score of 6-3 on November 21st. Into the zone, aggressive forecheck provided by Jackson. Jackson helped out by Ryan Walsh, sent around, held in at the far blue by Wiener. And a shot gloved by Pavone. And now some extracurricular activity. I ain't talking any Greek life here, as quite a scrum is broken out behind the Farmingdale net. Every player on the ice, minus the goaltenders, have paired up with a partner. Didn't need any DJ to tell them to do so. They'll just partner up all on their own. And so the teams and players separate. We'll see if any head off to the penalty box. Looks like heading off to the box. By the way, that prior penalty assessed to Sacred Heart was a Walsh elbow. Now it looks like we'll have a Ram and a Pioneer sit for two here. Officials continue discussing things. Now we've got 2 members of the Pioneers in the box, along with a goaltender. That goaltender being Noah, oh boy, Lakowski. Those Polish names, let me tell you. Trying to make out who's in the box for the Rams before they have any numbers put up on the scoreboard. Surely you can't send the entire 5-man unit for each team to the box. Here's a zoom in from our cameraman, Frank. Frank has eyes on the Sacred Heart box, is what I see from here. See if we get over the Farmingdale box. Yeah, there we go. Perfect pan there from Frank. Again, these teams, Frank, they're not really fans of each other. Doesn't seem like it at all, says Frank. You know, I agree. Couple members of Sacred Heart making homecomings. I mentioned Luke Tannenbaum of Shoreham, New York, coming back to Long Island. Played for Ward Melville. And Darren Koenig, number 21, a Floral Park native, as well as Victor Diorico, who played or is from Smithtown. I'm assuming has a relative currently playing for the Smithtown Bulls with the last name of Diorico. And of course, you have Darren Koenig as well as Brandon Koenig, both Koenigs hailing from Floral Park. And it looks like a Farmingdale power play is going to come away from all this hullabaloo, which I'm sure will really make Sacred Heart fans happy. Farmingdale fans certainly are. Shot never got through on a Tannenbaum. Off the stick of Ferrazzi, and out of the zone it comes. Pavone aggressive, out to stop it. Leaves it for Lena. And LJ Lena, wow, look at that, a little stick tap. As cruising by the goaltender there was Murphy. Lena has it stolen off his stick. Great play by Walsh. Comes right back into Pavone. And Pavone hesitates before backhanding it to Lavoie. And again, the Farmingdale power play just seems out of sorts. Catch a bit of a break there. Skating it in with speed, Lafata. Lafata dropping it, DeAndrea. DeAndrea. Blue line for Ozzy across, Lena back across for Ozzy. Tap it, and they score! No longer out of sorts at all. A beautiful tic-tac-toe goal gets Farmingdale on the board. In a delayed reaction, I'd say a little bit from the goal horn, but there it is. A great tic-tac-toe play. Tannenbaum did all he could. But finishing the beautiful play, getting the goal, Ian Riberich. And Farmingdale lead 1-0 after a long pause with about 6 minutes left in the period. And again, a surely upset Farmingdale group, but nonetheless the goal scored on the power play by Ian Riberich. Goal number 7 of the season and point number 15 for Ian, as another shot toward Tannenbaum is denied. And before any heated discussions that result in some pushing and shoving take place in front of Tannenbaum. The officials get there. And so face off now to the right of Tannenbaum. Farmingdale Rams, they lead at 1-0, looking to add to it in the offensive zone. However, it's scooped up along the far boards and carried out here by Strano. Strano thwarted in the neutral zone. A good play made. For the moment now, a shot comes and it goes wide. Far side, where he was looking was Colin Birch. Hard had it in the moment. Now comes out, and that pass intended for Donnie Pace didn't get to him. Another collision, potential offsides avoided, and slowing things down is Malandrucolo, who banks one along for Paul. Paul's backhanded dump-in attempt hit his teammate Castellano. Nice play along the far wall by Grillo allows Farmingdale to enter the zone. Kick save made by Tannenbaum, who was moving right, then the shot went left. Pushed into neutral ice and firing it ahead. Here's Sean Pohl on the forecheck. They score! Sacred Heart get it right back and tie the game at 1. A quick play through the neutral zone and eventually scored by Sean Pohl. Got around the defender. He's going to go to the backhand, and I thought he slipped it in 5-0. He's going to beat Pavone under the glove and over the left pad. So Farmingdale's lead doesn't last very long at all. About a little over a minute or so, and Sacred Heart have come back to tie. Out of the scramble in the boards, it's Wadika. Wadika wrist shot blocked, and taking it up in transition with speed is Kalani. Kalani joined by fellow teammate Hayes. Hayes has it here. Shot save made Pavone, and he'll cover up. And once again, another greeting in front of Pavone that has the makings to get out of hand. Sticks are flying. Seems the boys are settled. Players getting their licks in before told not to anymore, before you get called for a penalty. See, last time this happened, Farmingdale got a power play as a result, and that is how they've gotten their lone goal of the game. See what comes of this one. Let's head down between the benches for a potential update. No, okay. No update. Just yet. Imagine our live stats man is a bit overwhelmed as the penalty book is getting filled up rather quickly. There, 3:46 left in the first period. There he is. We'll get things sorted out here. Well, again, it's Donnie Pace in discussion with the official as well as Captain Jack Kinahan. Malandrucolo in the box, 3 Rams packed in there like sardines. 3 Pioneers and a goaltender are in the Sacred Heart box, and now someone gets let out. That someone being William Hayes. Tom Forty has a penalty assessed to him up on the scoreboard, as does Edward Jackson of Walpole, Massachusetts. when our next upload is. Of course, we cover all Farmingdale M2, M3 games, as well as Stony Brook ACHA M3, as well as Columbia. We're all over the place here tonight. Travis Quigley, probably hear his voice a lot for the Farmingdale M2, as well as some M3 games. He's up in Columbia for that game tonight. Brady Campbell. And again, you'll hear him on some M3 games as well. He's got the M2 assignment tonight. M2 referring to Farmingdale. And what's been an overall very successful season for Farmingdale to this point, a minor setback and a big loss to Sacred Heart M3 in their last time out. Again, looking to respond from that. Cutting through in a great play, thwarted at the last moment, it was Van Zeel. Trying the windmill deke and to no avail. And now laying in a hit was Farmingdale's Nick D'Alessandro. Here's LJ Lena. Lost the handle. We are 4 aside. As that shot deflects to the corner. Picked up and carried up ice by Van Zeel. Drops it for Walsh. Walsh a shot toward Pavone. Got it away from the Rams netminder. With about a minute left here on the 4-on-4. Lena. Seam pass blocked. And now flipped across ice by Walsh. Turned over, and here's Lavoie. Absorbs a hit on the backhand centering feed. Hit a couple of skates out in front, now backhanded along by Kinahan. Carrying in Birch, but we get a stoppage. With about 39 seconds left of 4-on-4 hockey. There we go. About 2:18 left here in the first period. Puck along the near half wall. Drop for Malandrukalo. Malandrukalo backhanding it toward the front of the net. There you block it. Tannenbaum. Quick outlet pass. 1-on-2. Moving into the zone. Going down to the ice. No call. Assessed against Murphy. They'll say he went down on his own accord. Bump dished out by Lavoie in the far boards. As the 4-on-4 has concluded, we're back to 5 aside. And not 5 aside for much longer, as going down to the ice and drawing the penalty was Wadaka. And being escorted to the penalty box, despite avid protest, is William Hayes. And so Farmingdale will get their third power play of the first period. They are 1 for 2 tonight. I believe tripping the call against William Hayes. Get a live stats update in a moment for you all. Puck being eaten behind Tannenbaum, now fired out of the zone. Cleared out by Sam Wiener. LJ Lena. Rink-wide pass, connecting with Riberich, who centers. Good stick check. Bounces back to Lena. Plays it down low. Not notably handled cleanly by the Rams and sent down ice by Sacred Heart and Edward Jackson. Lena. Picked up for the moment by Pace. And now Castellano moves in with speed. Left wing side, takes a hit. Wadaka and Riberich. They're going to change the angle now to the far side. Castellano for a feed, far circle shot. Deflects wide. Pace for Wadaka. As time expires in the first period, a shot that came after the horn. "36 seconds of power play time will carry over from the first period to the second, as we have reached the end, of course, of period number 1. 1-1 is your score after one. You're listening to LI Sports Network's coverage of Farmingdale State College hockey, Rams hockey on LI Sports Network. Ryan Brannigan, Frank Potato will be back for the second period. But first, some highlights of that first period coming your way. We've got 3 for you here. And then after that, by all means, hit the washroom, the bathroom, the fridge, pick up a snack, maybe a coffee, what have you. But for now, here is your highlights of the first period. And after that, I'll see you in about 15 right here on LI Sports Network.
Alright. Yeah, I thought so. I'm gonna go back out to my car for my water. Why I didn't get it when I got that, I don't know.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Syosset Iceworks. Farmingdale and Sacred Heart set to begin period number 2. Tied at 1 after 1. A power play goal for the Rams. Scored in front by Ian Riberich, followed up by an excellent goal off the rush. Scored by Sean Pohl out of Stockton, Massachusetts, or so seconds, as Lavoie has his pocket picked and sent back deep into the zone. Nice play there by Jackson. Around here for Ferrazzi, as just 5 seconds remain on the power play. It'll likely be killed off completely, and will. And a turnover, chance, Sacred Heart, Jackson dangles, and it's knocked away from him. Good defensive play made by Ferrazzi, as Lafada came down to the ice. Shot blockered away by Pavone. Came off the stick of Birch. Sneaking up the left wing side, and now hands off to Lavoie. Lavoie unable to get around the defender. On to Tannenbaum. Tannenbaum keeps it moving around the boards, where it can be picked up along the near side by Brendan Murphy. Murphy trying to lead pass ahead to Walsh. Stopped at the line, offsides on Sacred Heart. It was a penalty-filled first period, as pointed out by cameraman Frank, and see if that trend continues here in the second. Being sent from the face-off dot is Byer. Stepping in now to take the draw for Sacred Heart is Murphy, and he will win it back to his defenseman Body, who sends in. Sent around by Farmingdale defender Grillo, as the Rams look to break out. Now cutting in. Right wing side, blockered away by Tannenbaum off the shot from Insana. There's Manzi and Delvecchia in the box long term, as a chance out in front, unable to be gathered in by Sacred Heart's Byer. In behind Pavone, centering pass blocked, and now a stoppage. No shortage of those here in this one. A minute 48 seconds gone by here for second period. Face off to the left of Pavone. No penalties. Picked up in behind by Diorico. Stumbles down. Tries to get it back to the blue line. Does get it back to Wiener, who holds in. Now Diorico. On for Grondin. Rams possess and flip to center, and now a chance going the other way for Donnie Pace. Pace going to work on Birch. Birch, good defense. Takes the puck away from Pace. And now flips over the stick of Manzi, who is back out of the box. Spent most of that first in it. After a skirmish that leaked past the whistle. Ultimately led to a Ram power play. And now turnover pit chance. Sent down ice, all the way down. No icing though, great hustle provided by Hunter Mabee. Now for the Rams up the right wing side, Nick D'Alessandro. And now again after the whistle, a Ram gets shoved down to the ice. It was Wiener doing the shoving. as Nick D'Alessandro hit the deck. Heard some Sacred Heart frustration coming off the ice there at the end of the first period about the silly penalties that they did take, especially those after the whistle. We will not see one here as DeAndrea makes his way from the bench into the offensive zone, and he'll take the draw. Just kidding. It'll be Riberich to take the draw. Comes back to DeAndrea. Shot, left pad save made by Tannenbaum. Centering feed. DeAndrea unable to get a shot through. Good defense provided by Body. Back to the point for a drive wide off the stick of D'Alessandro. That's Mike D'Alessandro. Sacred Heart send in on the forecheck. It's Kalani. To the line, held in for the moment by Andrew Smith. And now right point. Luke Body chased out of the zone, backhands up ice where it's intercepted and controlled by the Rams. Mike D'Alessandro. D-to-D pass for Manzi. Manzi a bit too far out of the reach of his forward. He was trying to hit there, was Riberich. Now that neutral zone shot comes on goal. Save made, rebound available, and it'll be picked up here by Tom Ford. The blue line, low shot, right pad save made, rebound thrown wide. Tom Ford back to Lena. Lena 17 assists from the blue line, no goals though. Shot eventually gets through to Tannenbaum, who's there to seal up the rebound and generates a whistle. Rams get the offensive zone draw coming to the right of the Sacred Heart netminder. Face-off eventually controlled and cleared by Sacred Heart. And doing the dirty work, Ryan Walsh. He'll backhand in. Pavone stops it behind his cage. Lena tries to get it out, can't. On that left wing far boards. Malandrukalo behind his net, turns it over. Good forecheck from Jackson. Jackson now for Walsh. Walsh cuts middle, takes the shot, missed it high. Held in along the near boards by Wiener, keeps things moving. Wiener again, near point. Takes the shot, deflects wide of the net, getting a piece of it out in front, Van Zyl. Kicked along, and the Rams can clear. Pass was behind. Good receive there from Paul, Jake Paul, who rims in the dump in. Opposite corner, collision takes place. Rams looking to settle it down, get control. They cannot. Fanned on, though, by Wiener. Eventually comes to Lafata, holds fire. Save made, Tannenbaum. On the alert play from Luke Lafata, the East Islip native. A Suffolk County High School Hockey League rematch there between Lafata and Tannenbaum. Luke's brother Evan currently dominating the Suffolk County High School Hockey League in terms of points for EI. Face-off one, quickly played back from DeAndrea to the point. Manzi's shot never got through. DeAndrea back on it. Plays it to the far boards, where it's backhanded along by Sigafus. And eventually out of the zone, unable to hold in for the Rams was DeSaro. Sacred Heart send in by way of Murphy. Pavone to stop it. Sent up the near boards for DeAndrea, who turns it over. Puck just sitting there. Eventually poked at, trying to get control is Thomas Byer of Sacred Heart, and now gaining control for Sacred Heart is Murphy. As that clearing attempt misses the high glass and hits the netting and out of play on behalf of Mr. DeAndrea, Chris DeAndrea. The Franklin Square native. DeAndrea this season having himself quite the year. With 24 points, second most on the team. Save made, Pavone, rebound available. Scramble is on, puck is loose, no goal is signaled. Oh, Pavone made the first save, and then, well, all hell broke loose. And somehow, some way, by the grace of the Almighty above, the puck stayed out. A power play does come out of that for Sacred Heart. It'll be their first power play here tonight as Noah Lavoie goes to the box. Face off to the right of Pavone, who just made a few fantastic saves to keep it at one apiece. D. Shot through a screen, never got through. In behind and out of the zone. Here's Birch for Jackson, back to Birch. Colin Birch, challenged by Lena. Takes it around Pavone. Drops it for Kinahan. Kinahan back to Birch. Birch shot deflected, save made, rebound kicks wide. Another fantastic save made by Pavone. And the Rams clear. Tannenbaum leaves it for Birch. Birch to an in-stride Kinahan, but he lost control and it's sent back down ice by the Rams. Their penalty-killing unit featuring Tom Ford up front, as well as Ian Riberich. It's Mike Malandrucolo going for a change on the back end. Ferrazzi comes out along with Malandrucolo. Pardon me, that was Mike D'Alessandro, not Drucolo, if I said that. I'm not sure. Anyway, Sacred Heart enter the zone. Walsh fires through again a huge amount of traffic out in front, reminiscent of coming home during rush hour. And poked out of the zone. A great play made by Riberich. Cruising right back in, though, here's Wiener. Wiener hands back. Maybe a shot. And it deflects over and out of the zone. It can be handled by Murphy. Murphy to Mabee. That pass hits a Ram stick and deflects in. Thought it was going to go out of play, did not. Wiener fires right back in. Pavone to stop it. Pavone to leave it for Manzi as the power play has expired. A couple of dangerous looks, but other than that, Sacred Heart can't get the go-ahead goal. 0 for 1 tonight with the man advantage. As Sean Poles got the game's only goal for Sacred Heart. Now ahead Lavoie, 2-on-1 with DeAndrea. Lavoie's shot and a great block, put back out in front, but by then DeAndrea had gone behind the net. And now away here for Mabee. Mabee, shot blocked by Lena. Got back to him, but Mabee, it wouldn't be, denied by Pavone. Back out in front, save made by Pavone. Another great look here for the Sacred Heart Pioneers. Pass from in behind Pavone out to the slot. Victor Diorico. Stonewall by Pavone, who makes another save. Off the ensuing faceoff. Dug free and thrown back toward Pavone, who makes the stick stop on McDermott. McDermott, the leading scorer for Sacred Heart. Hasn't been too prominent to start, but the game, of course, not even halfway through. Well, maybe around now it is. A shot from Ferrazzi blocked out in front. as we're over 10 minutes gone by in the second period, tied up at 1. Fired wide to the left of Pavone, picked up near side by Diorico. Pass toward the front of the net, blocked. Puck available, will be picked up by Riberich. Riberich backhands ahead. Flipped ahead by Ferrazzi, on goal to Tannenbaum, who tries to rifle it out of the zone and does. Right on the stick of Manzi. Manzi quickly, D'Alessandro, shot wide. Picked up along the far side by Insana, Jack Insana. And now here's a chance the other way for Sacred Heart. A save made, Pavone! As he denies Thomas Byer, fresh from the bench with an open look, a partial breakaway, and Pavone says no. Face off to the right of the aforementioned Rams netminder, who has been outstanding here tonight. Rams will flip to center, but not quite the touch they wanted on it. No icing, though, is ruled, as I thought there might be. Insana looks to generate a cycle near side. Instead, the puck comes out of the zone. Keeping things in the zone. Good keep there on the forecheck here, Brendan Murphy. Now Murphy goes down. He'll draw a penalty, as he was taken down by Mark Della Vecchia. The Whitestone Queens native will head off to the box, and Sacred Heart will get their second chance on the power play. Just great forecheck leading to that penalty drawn. Rams playing with danger here in this second period with these penalties, as Sacred Heart also have had the better of the play. Birch across, one-time shot denied by Pavone. Primary reason we're still tied. Seam pass connects but hops over the stick of Jack Kinahan, who does play it back to Birch. Birch across. Walsh. Kinahan. Birch. Fires, save. Rebound. Score! Mention the Rams playing with fire, while fire has burnt Farmingdale. It's 2-1. A goal for Sacred Heart on the power play, and it looks like the eventual goal scorer, number 26, Ryan Walsh. Starts with a point shot. Plenty of chaos out in front, and the loose puck. No chance for Pavone. Just flipped into the back of the net by Walsh. Right time, right place. Surely that's the phrase. 2-1. Pios with the lead here in the second period, with about 8 minutes and 5 seconds left. Both teams, pardon me, Rams 1 for 3 on the power play tonight, while Sacred Heart now 1 for 2 with the man advantage. Offside's the call. Face off just outside the Rams' end. They'll win the draw. Pass ahead from Mike D'Alessandro, deflected. He'll get it back from in behind. Hoping to lead Lavoie, he could not. Right back in the zone. Handled by Mike D'Alessandro. Deflected in by LaFata. Right onto the stick. Chance here, DeAndrea. Oh, what a save! Oh, Tannenbaum with a beautiful stop. Keeps the Pios ahead by 1 as they look to finally break out of the zone and do. Briefly touched on the stick there of Koenig. Pardon me, that's Sean Pohl. Scored earlier in the first period. the game's lone 5-on-5 goal. But his pass intercepted by DeAndrea. DeAndrea trying to avoid a hit dished out by Diorico. And Chris DeAndrea looks to get back on it. Eventually, puck flutters in behind Pavone. Centering feed knocked away. And now DeAndrea speeds out of the zone into the neutral zone. Now O-zone. Wrist shot. Blocker save made. Tannenbaum. Far corner, it's body. Banked ahead. And sent right back into the Pioneer zone by Grillo. Intercepted, chance out in front, and it's blocked. Luke Body with the great defensive play off the nearly catastrophic turnover in the defensive end for Sacred Heart. Big collision for Rossi, bumping into a forechecking Diorico who absorbed the hit. And now the Rams come away, skating to center. Ian Riberich drops it for Rossi. For Rossi, a drive save, rebound, settled and fired and missed the net wide. Great chance for Farmingdale. Now a 2-on-1 for Sacred Heart. Drive, save, Pavone! My goodness, Luke Pavone, another grade A chance, denied. Flipped on goal, save made. Tannenbaum as the goaltenders taking over here in the second. Here's the Pavone stop. 2-on-1. Pass is available. Defender just got sucked way too down low. Great save and anticipation there from Pavone. And how about earlier? From Luke Tannenbaum on DeAndrea. Hello. Ensuing draw, flipped to center, held and controlled by Manzi, only for a brief moment as it knocked off his stick by Jackson. Jackson looks to get it back from Manzi, plays it around to Dellavecchia, and now flipped out of play by said Dellavecchia. 5:09 left here in the second period. Sacred Heart up ahead by a goal, 2-1 over Farmingdale. Again, despite not being technically an M3 team, they have played against some of the best M3 teams and had some excellent results come away from it. There's a one-time shot denied by Pavone. And now a stoppage in play. 5:02 left. Puck will be dropped to the right of Luke Pavone, the Smithtown native. Quite the hockey hotbed. A drive from the point, save, rebound, Pavone! Oh my! Back the other way, Farmingdale. Pace, shot denied by Tannenbaum. Castellano to the point. Wrist shot, traffic blocked. Picked back up by Castellano. And Sana centers, hoping for the stick of Pace, didn't get it. Dellavecchia out in front, deflects wide. And Sana. Dellavecchia. Wrist shot, deflection, save made at the top of his crease by Tannenbaum. And Sana trying to keep the cycle going. Good shift here for Farmingdale. Plowing into the boards was Castellano. Now off the loose puck, it's Pace and an aisle by Tannenbaum, and he seals off the rebound. But once again, on the other end of the rink, it's Luke Pavone. Right off the face-off, here's Wiener. He's going to take this shot. He's going to deflect. Save made, rebound. Better get reset. Pavone does. And makes that save. Now, what have we here? A couple of line changes being made. Insana over the boards and onto the Ram bench. Tom Ford to take the draw for the Rams. Kept in the zone, alert play made by Watka, who has it here. Watka shot, denied. by the defender. And that was Birch who got in the way of it. Held in at the far point for a shot, absorbed by Tannenbaum. And you can hear some of these discussions out on the ice, Frank, from all the way up here in our broadcast booth. We'll call it a booth. It's a booth. It's booth-ish. It's holding in the far point, or rather near point, Jaden Grillo, where he works it down low. Grillo sends around to Paul. Paul Wadika, hoping for a stick out in front. None there. Here's Tom Ford. To the blue line, Alan Drukalo. To Grillo. Grillo wraps around, hoping for Paul on the other side. He's got Paul with a forechecking play. Held in. Tom Ford sweeps it low. Wadika. Tom Ford to the point. Alan Drukalo to Grillo. Grillo shot blocked. Everything to the outside right now for Farmingdale. Paul fires a shot, save made. Rebound. Tannenbaum way out of his net. And a penalty upcoming. And Wadika and Wiener tangled up with one another in the slot area. And a dramatic fall to the ice here for Wiener. Probably just lost an edge. Wadika is being escorted to the box. The Bethpage native, 10 goals on the season. Tied for fourth most on the Rams. He'll be joined by Sam Wiener in the box, the Pioneer defender. It's been that kind of game, Frank. Tensions are high. The dislike is augmented based on prior results, as I mentioned earlier. An 8-0 beatdown of Farmingdale, this very Farmingdale team, of course, to Sacred Heart M3, which is the tier above this team we have on the ice, the ACDC A team. And Farmingdale had a great series with the University of Delaware's M3 team. A couple of real close games, or 3 close games. One of them won by Farmingdale, the other 2 belong to Delaware. The same Pioneer team played Delaware and lost 5-3. A couple of overtime losses again for the Sacred Heart team to Kutztown, who Farmingdale defeated in overtime. Luke Ferrazzi with a hat trick in that game. Sacred Heart lost to Kutztown 5-4. And then 3-2 in overtime the day before to Stonehill. Wadika looks like he's getting the only penalty out of that sequence. So a Pioneer power play, which is 1 for 2 tonight, looks to get going once more. To the point. Victor DiRico, and that's out of the zone. Good play made by Mike D'Alessandro. It's Luke Body. Shifts one ahead for Van Zyl. Ryan Van Zyl steps around D'Alessandro. Center! Save made Pavone. Point blank on Brendan Murphy. Comes back to Body. Body to Mabee. Mabee ahead to Pole. Cross. And nobody home on the back door for Sacred Heart. Body quickly back across. Shot here from B is denied by Pavone. .202 left, second period. Sacred Heart certainly have had the better of play here in the second. Have the only goal of the second period. It came on the power play, in which they are on their third currently. Colin Birch to Kinahan. Kinahan down low to Edward Jackson. Back up top for Birch. Shot. Glove save made. Pavone. Rebound. Still loose. And banking out of the zone. Pavone again coming up huge for Farmingdale. And now losing an edge. Chance now shorthanded for Ferrazzi. Ferrazzi tried to jam one to the front of the net on the backhand. Not sure if it got on goal or Tannenbaum got a piece. But either way, it's skated free by Thomas Walsh. Ryan Walsh. And now Sacred Heart offside. .19 left in the middle period. And 28 seconds left on the power play for Sacred Heart. Birch worked it across, turned over. Here's Castellano. Long wrister blockered away by Tannenbaum. Flipped back in by Malandrucolo. As Sacred Heart reset. As we approach, here we are, last minute of play in the second period. And just 2 seconds left on the power play for Sacred Heart. Another shot denied by Tannenbaum. And we return to 5 aside with 50 seconds, 50.9 to be precise, left here in the second period. So both Farmingdale and Sacred Heart now 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. Face off to the left of Pavone. DeRico to take it for Sacred Heart against Luke LaFata of Farmingdale. And check that, it'll be Chris DeAndrea. One by DeRico, who has it. To the point, body. Takes a shot, a wrister through traffic. Right past save made Pavone, rebound. Shot toward the net off the stick of Andrew Smith, never got through. Farmingdale trying to clear, 33 seconds to play here in the second. Lena. Got that pass through to LaFata. DeAndrea, one-time shot blocked by Body. Another drive, another block from Body. Laying the body is Luke Body. Quick reset for Farmingdale in the neutral zone. Puck back in. Noah Lavoie takes a bump from behind. Kept alive by Mike D'Alessandro, and we hit 0-0 in period number 2. Will we have another skirmish? Doesn't appear so. So despite there just being one goal scored in that period, a lot of highlights there in that middle frame that has Sacred Heart in front 2-1 on a goal scored on the power play by Thomas Byer. A 2-1 after 2. You're listening to Farmingdale State Rams hockey here on LI Sports Network. Your second period highlights. And there'll be a lot of saves are coming right your way in just a moment. Stick with us. And after that, I'll catch you in about 15 or so minutes here, live and only on the LI Sports Network. Welcome back to the Iceworks here in Syosset. You're listening to ACHA Farmingdale Hockey on LI Sports Network. Ryan Brannigan here alongside our cameraman tonight, Frank Potato. As we get set for this third period, Farmingdale trailing Sacred Heart 2-1. As Sacred Heart dominated in that second period, the score would be far worse had it not been for the miraculous play in between the pipes of Luke Pavone. He's been excellent here tonight, as has his counterpart for Sacred Heart, just not tested nearly as often, not nearly as many high danger chances as well. Saved by Tannenbaum, but he's had quite a few good saves as well. As the go-ahead goal scored on the power play in that second period, provided by Ryan Walsh. We get set to go here in this third period, and here is Walsh as he steps around D'Alessandro. Mike D'Alessandro looks to play back to the point, but only one there is Riberich for Farmingdale. His lead pass connecting with Nick D'Alessandro as he looks to get a forecheck started. Chaos in the far corner, eventually dug free and skated on by Ryan Walsh. Walsh knocked down by Ferrazzi. Ferrazzi playing it down the left wing side. Here's Riberich in behind the goal. Riberich to the point. Delayed penalty. It's going to be against Sacred Heart. Empty net Farmingdale. In the slot, LaFata can't get a good touch. Back to the point, and Farmingdale reset. Puck escapes the grasp of Riberich, who tracks back to it. Ian Riberich opened the scoring for Farmingdale back in the first period on the power play. As we've had just over a minute gone by in this third period, Farmingdale will get their fourth turn on the power play tonight. 1 for 3. The all-important face-off to be taken and won by LaFata. Lena across, Ferrazzi walks, fires! Loose out in front! And eventually cleared out, but only as far as Ferrazzi. Ferrazzi to Lena. Lena, far circle, wrister! Deflects wide of the cage. Here is Ferrazzi. Plenty of time and space at the near point. Ferrazzi. Now, shot from Lavoie and ducking out in front, providing the screen. LaFata goes over the net regardless. LaFata. DeAndrea, power move. Goes near to far. DeAndrea, Ferrazzi. Minute 17 left on the power play for Farmingdale. All of it primarily spent in the offensive zone. Good pass for Ferrazzi on a give and go with DeAndrea and a save made by Tannenbaum. Ferrazzi circling, wrist shot wide. Another shot, save, Tannenbaum! Got it with the glove. Sprawling save made by the Pioneer goaltender. Now DeAndrea trying to flick one out in front on the backhand. Deflected and cleared on goal by Sacred Heart. Pavone trying to quickly go right back up as Sacred Heart make a quick change. LaFata steps around one. LaFata on the backhand. Trying to jam it down on the near side. Held in for a moment by DeAndrea. Now the puck escapes to center. Lena, 24 seconds on the power play for Farmingdale. Chris DeAndrea circles. Now makes his way in. DeAndrea through a host of Pioneers. Eventually gathered in and centered by Pace. And just past to keep an attempt from Manzi. Donnie Pace. Lead pass just a little far for Manzi. Surprised him, I believe. And now puck down for Pavone as the power play expires. Farmingdale 1 for 4. 0 for their last 3 on the power play tonight. Noah Lavoie. Wrist shot blocked. Can't follow it up. Manzi keeps it alive. Down the right wing side, far side of the ice. Save made by Tannenbaum. Another shot steered in the direction of Tannenbaum. Kicked out the left pad. Farmingdale with momentum, though, following that power play. And a couple of good looks on it. Tom Ford. Wadaka pace now. Tom Ford, and a save made by Tannenbaum. So here's that last save from Tannenbaum on Tom Ford, looking to get goal number 2 on the season. Save made, and now the earlier one on the power play from Tannenbaum. Excellent glove save, sliding into position after he had made a prior stop. Quick change of direction, and Tannenbaum there. Luke Ferrazzi will take the offensive zone draw to the right of Tannenbaum. He'll take it against Brendan Murphy of Sacred Heart. Comes back to the point, a shot, didn't get all of it. Grillo found its way into the glove of Luke Tannenbaum. So they'll do it again to the left of the Sacred Heart Tendy. This time Sacred Heart win the draw and deflect out. Chasing after it with speed. Shot, save made, Tannenbaum. Good rush up the ice from Hunter Mabee. Played back to the point, shot from Birch wide of goaltender Pavone, and now quickly ahead. 2-on-1 developing. Pass across, great play made. Getting down into the crouch position, Colin Birch. Flip right back into the Sacred Heart end of the ice. Sacred Heart looked to clear. Good step up there from Grillo. Deflects back onto Pavone, who quickly steers it ahead. Turnover, chance down low. Sacred Heart giving go. They score! Off the turnover. Hunter Mabee is gonna get the goal, and it gives Sacred Heart a 3-1 lead. Early goings, third period, a classic give and go off the turnover down low. Malandrukalo out of position. And Hunter Mabee gives Hart the 2-goal lead. Looking for a quick response. Farmingdale's Jake Paul. Lena, Rister, traffic, out in front, chance, save made, Tannenbaum. Oh, Tannenbaum with another great stop off the change of direction in front of the net. Rugby scrum-esque play here in the corner. 3-a-side battle. Eventually works free to Lena. Rister, and a glove save made by Tannenbaum. Here's that look again. Watch the shot from Lena as it's not going to get through. Deflects, and then great look out in front there for Donnie Pace. But Tannenbaum recovering and making the stop. Showing off the athleticism. Luke Tannenbaum. Here's Lavoie. Nice little play down low. Pad save made, Tannenbaum. Try to go to the far point. Hit the stick of Lavoie, and now out of the zone. It's really just been the one mistake for Farmingdale to start this third period. It ended up in the back of their net. They've had the better of the play. As we're over 5 minutes gone. Nearing 6 minutes gone by in this third period. No Lavoie, their leading scorer. Held off the score sheet tonight. Plays it around to DeAndrea. DeAndrea works it down low for Lafata. Lafata had to go over his stick. Now it can be cleared by Kalani, and that's exactly what he'll do. And now he'll carry up ice. Jake Kalani poked away from him, on back for a chance. Shot save made, Pavone. Rebound steered away from out in front by Malandrukalo. Another shot blocked. DeAndrea to the loose puck. And Chris DeAndrea slowly maneuvers his way up ice. Plays it to Lavoie. Lavoie crunched by Marizito. Anthony Marizito. Pardon me, no, that's 26. That's Ryan Walsh. Hard dump in, wrapped around the wall. Steered into the neutral zone by Lena. Aggressive forecheck from Castellano. But a good play by Bursch, playing it across. Eventually now finds its way onto the stick of Van Zyl. Van Zyl sends in. Pavone, very active in playing the puck, does so again. Insana deflects it ahead for Castellano. Castellano hoping for Donnie Pace, finds him. Pace rips it into the zone, out to play it, Tannenbaum. And eventually works himself over to Walsh. Walsh, rink-wide pass, banks ahead. He's in. Chance on the back end. They score! Edward Jackson off the great feed in the neutral zone. 4-1 Sacred Heart. Watch this pass. Oh, they're not going to get the pass, unfortunately. But taking it to the back end. Gets enough underneath the puck to lift it over Pavone. It's 4-1 Sacred Heart. They have had two grade A chances, I should say. They were great too. And they have cashed in on both of them here to start this third period and have extended their 1-goal lead to a 3-goal edge on Farmingdale. Here's Castellano. Castellano in the corner, centers. Nobody home. Manzi can't get around the clutches of Sigafus, who puts it up ice. Castellano. As Farmingdale make a change, it'll be an icing against the Rams. Let's get you caught up on some of the assists on those goals scored here in period number 3. By virtue of our man inside the scorer's table, Liam. The first goal, a goal scored by Mabee, getting the primary assist, Victor Diorico, as well as Wyatt Grondin. Second goal scored by Jackson, getting the primary and only assist, Ryan Walsh. As look out, Tannenbaum, uh-oh! Farmingdale can't cash in, not just yet anyway. Played across, and this chance will go by the wayside. Mabee steps across. Now a wrister, and getting a piece was Pavone. On the third great chance of this third period for Sacred Heart. This time Pavone says no. Again it's Mabee. Up ice with speed. It's Wyatt Grondin letting her rip, and a save made by Pavone. Face off to the right of the Ram goaltender. Won by Sacred Heart, played wide. Now they have possession in the corner. Centered across. Chance for Mabee. Blocked. Another try. Save Pavone. Rebound Pavone. Got it too. Still loose out in front to the right. In behind. Sacred Heart hungry for more. And that's denied by Pavone. It wouldn't have mattered anyways. The whistle blew, and they're going to get Wyatt Grondin behind the play. Caught up in his scrum with Ian Riberich in behind Luke Pavone. And it's just Grondin going to the box. So you're looking for an opportunity to get back in the game. Here it is for Farmingdale. As they go to their 5th power play of the night, 1 for 4. Lafada to take the draw. To the left of Tannenbaum, wins it clean. Lena to Ferrazzi. D to D, Ferrazzi. Hands off DeAndrea. Comes up high. Sauced across for Lena. Lena Ferrazzi. Ferrazzi wrist shot save made. Tannenbaum rebound, unable to be sent toward the goal. Batted without a high stick there by Lena. Keeps the puck from going all the way down ice. Quickly right back in, it's Lafada. Lafada, wrist shot save made. Rebound available in front. Pushed to the line, not out. Held in by Lena. Ferrazzi. DeAndrea. Returns to Ferrazzi, near point. Now Lena. Ferrazzi. Wrist shot, terrific save made. Rebound, and again, no one home. Able to get it there for the Rams. DeAndrea, wrist shot, swallowed up by Luke Tannenbaum. So good possession, good chances. A broken stick has found its way onto the center ice logo. It's picked up and handled by Castellano, who dumps it over the Farmingdale bench. He'll return to the offensive zone where the faceoff will take place to the right of Sacred Heart goaltender Luke Tannenbaum. Again, more good looks on this power play. Nothing to show for it here for Farmingdale. They'll keep in. Pace. First shot along the ice, looking for a deflection, steered away by the stick of Tannenbaum. And it gets by the stick of Pace at the near point. Rams must reset in the neutral zone. Nick D'Alessandro banks one ahead. Here's Tom Ford. And now Castellano ripping the slot and getting a piece with the glove was Tannenbaum. Open look off the broken play for Joe Castellano. And there you see it just ricochet high and wide. Just over 5 minutes gone by in this third period. 2 goals scored by Sacred Heart. Mabee and Jackson. Here's Castellano. Farmingdale in need of a response. Out in front, Tom Ford, shot wide. And banked all the way down to be played by Pavone. Pavone to Nick D'Alessandro. Just 5 seconds remain on the Farmingdale power play. Again, good chances, but will come up empty. Ferrazzi, Tom Ford down low. Tom Ford goes down, keeping things moving in behind Sean Pohl. Bank to center. Manzi trying to send it back the other way. Pohl there, fires in. Misconnection on the outlet pass results in an icing against the Rams, who are running out of time here in this third period to try to spark a comeback. They came into it again only trailing by 1. They trail by 3. Face-off controlled by Sacred Heart, thrown toward the net by Birch, never got there. DeAndrea back skating in his own zone, turns it over to Hayes. Lana trying to send it up the near boards, running into trouble. Pushed out in front by Hayes, or intended for Hayes. It was Jake Kalani. And now Lana for DeAndrea. Past his stick and onto the stick of Birch. Flips ahead, pushed back by Jackson. As Sacred Heart regroup in their own end. Colin Birch, hounded by the forechecking LaFata. Gathered in behind by Andrew Smith. Hopped over the stick of D'Alessandro, who's got to contend with the forechecking Pohl. Pohl, who opened the scoring for Sacred Heart back in period number 1. The Stoughton Mass product. And he'll intercept the pass here and then gets sent down to the ice by LaFata. Farmingdale aggressive, trying to generate a turnover. They do. LaFata to Lavoie. Oh, Tannenbaum. No, you didn't. What a save. Robs Noah Lavoie off a great play made by LaFata. And now watch LaFata attract both defenders. He doesn't even have to pass it, just the puck available there. And flashing the leather. Luke Tannenbaum, how do you do? Face off to the right of the Sacred Heart netminder. Goes wide of the net. Turned over in the neutral zone. Good play by Pace. Ripped in by Insana. Past the stick of Tannenbaum. Castellano to play it on the far corner. Sacred Heart clear out, and now the puck ends up in their bench. 7:04 left, third period. It's the Pioneers by 3 over the Rams, here and only on the LI Sports Network. Be sure to follow us on social media for all kinds of great content. Live updates on the Instagram, curated by Gabe Takuri. From all of the teams we cover, across all of the leagues we cover. Suffolk County High School Hockey League, New York Islanders High School Hockey League. Farmingdale Ram Hockey, M3, M2. New Haven as well. Columbia. Am I missing any? It's a lot. And it's all there at LI Sports Network. Oh, the podcast, yes. Travis Quigley. My buddy Travis Quigley and Paul Trentini. Rinks and Realities. Here's a shot from Castellano, denied. Right into the chest of Luke Tannenbaum. Definitely worth checking out. Find it right here on the YouTube channel, Rinks and Realities. Search that and you should be good to go. Tons of great guests, former Farmingdale players. Had a New York Islanders beat reporter as well. Anyway, here is Malandrugolo puck. Hops over his stick. He's got to track back to it. Banked ahead by Sigafus. And delayed penalty. It's going to go against Sacred Heart. However, Farmingdale iced the puck. Not sure if that changes where the faceoff ends up. But a 6th power play of the game awarded to Farmingdale. They're 1 for 5. It'll be their 3rd power play here in the 3rd period alone. They've had good looks, but have come up empty. 0 for 2 on their last 2 tries. Matter of fact, 0 for 5 on their last 5 tries in the game as a whole. Or 0 for 4, rather. Power play Rams. Critical juncture of the game with a hair less than 6 to play. It's a tripping penalty, and it's assessed to Brendan Murphy. I'd say this is do or die for the Rams. Ferrazzi. Lena. Lavoie, a rip, and a glove save made by Tannenbaum. Face off to the left of the aforementioned Sacred Heart goaltender. Shot blocked. Ferrazzi taps on Elena. Elena down low, Lavoie. Lavoie around the net, wraparound try, denied. Great defense provided by Colin Birch. LaFada. Still LaFada, now sent down ice by Birch. Pavone to settle it for Lena. Lena with incoming forecheck of Walsh. Walsh helped out by his fellow penalty-killing Edward Jackson. Bounced over the stick of Ferrazzi, trying to gain the zone, and it's sent right back down ice for Pavone to settle. He'll rip it up the wall to DeAndrea. Chris DeAndrea. Around 1 Pioneer. Picking up speed, DeAndrea, far circle shot denied by Tannenbaum. Lavoie settles, plays it down low. Poked along, held in by Ferrazzi on the backhand. DeAndrea. Connecting with Lena. Lena down low, quick boot, up top. DeAndrea drive, wide. Hit Birch out in front, who is slow to get up. Another shot blocked and hopped over the stick of Lavoie. 21 seconds left on the power play. Farmingdale. Lavoie. Wrister blocked. Lena try to get it to Ferrazzi. Ferrazzi back to Lena. Stutter step Lena. Far circle. Seam pass. Knocked away by Birch. What a game Colin Birch has had. Ferrazzi Give and go. Takes it on the backhand. Played across also on the backhand. Now forehand. Lena denied by Tannenbaum, who covers up as the power play expires. 5 for 6. Solid. Let's see if I can do math here. 5 for 6. That is over 80% on the power play, on the penalty kill tonight for Sacred Heart. That is 83%. Ensuing face-off in the offensive zone. Flipped to center by the Pioneers. It's going to roll toward Pavone, who doesn't play it. Defending on the clearing attempt, Alessandro, and now another skirmish has broken out in behind Pavone. Manzi involved, as well as a Sacred Heart player who's on top of him. Players are separated. The player sprawled on top of Manzi was Michael McDermott. Michael McDermott, who came into tonight leading the Pioneers in goals with 12 and points with 15, has been held off the sheet. He was the ECHC second star of the week for the week of November 7th to the 9th. Manzi to the box, McDermott to the box, the Bolton, Connecticut product. Story of the game, though, tonight is with just 3 minutes and 41 seconds left, has to be the goaltending. And Pavone really kept the Rams in the game in the second period, making a number of highlight reel saves. It was 2-1 heading into this period. And that's when Tannenbaum took the mantle, got the baton passed to him of the hot goaltending play. As Manzi is being escorted off the ice, he's still barking back at the Pioneer bench. But Kevin Manzi's night is over. And safe to say he is not pleased with that outcome. McDermott is now out of the box. Is he now set to join Manzi off the ice? He is. And so Michael McDermott's night has drawn to a close. He much less disappointed as he exits the ice with a big smile on his face. Never seemed out of place. Gives a high five to a fan in the stands and makes his way to the locker room. Manzi has the only power play, or penalty I should say, up on the board, which signifies power play for Sacred Heart, which only increases their already great chances of winning this game, up by 3 this late in the third. Played on back for Wiener. Wiener's shot wide. Sent up the far boards and banked ahead, hoping for potentially a shorthanded opportunity. Instead, it's handled by Ryan Van Zyl. And nice play to bring it ahead here by Mabee. Mabee, 3-on-2 over the blue. Fires a seam pass into the slot to hit a skate. And another big collision. And going after Malandrucolo on the ice. Holy moly, what has gotten into Sean Pohl? And now I think Pohl is going to be escorted off the rink. And Malandrucolo saying goodbye to the Sacred Heart team, Sacred Heart player. They're saying wrong side. It is the wrong side. He'd have to go all the way across. And now they're going to say, no, you're right. That's the wrong locker room. So Pohl now to join his teammate McDermott. Things are getting ugly here at the Iceworks in Syosset. And again, a very pleased Pole coming off the ice. Well, at least McDermott won't be lonely now in the locker room of Sacred Heart. Not that he was in there to begin with. He was hanging out right out in front of the locker room with plenty of room to take in the remaining 3 minutes plus of this hockey game. Five-minute major assessed to Mr. Pole. So we'll skate 4 aside for $1.30. And then Farmingdale for the remainder of the game, as I'm getting frantic updates from our man inside the box, Mr. Liam, intern for Farmingdale. Meanwhile, chance as hockey now is back to happening. See if things stay ugly or... It's a 3-goal game. Crazier things have happened. Matter of fact, the Canucks in a game last season scored 3 goals in about 2 minutes' time to make a miraculous comeback. It's possible, certainly, but unlikely, of course. Birch fires, blocker save made, Pavone, who likely in all of this will be lost on just how well he played. Not lost on me, of course, as dangling his way through Ryan Walsh. Walsh surviving the stick check of LaFata. On goal, save made, Pavone. Back with it now is Jake Kalani. Lost it, now Lena. D to Farazi. In 9 seconds, Farmingdale get a power play to close out the game. Farazi over the line, onside. Castellano shot wide. And banked past Lena, and DeAndrea held it in, but it ricochets out of the zone. I mentioned that power play. Well, it starts now for the Rams, and it'll go to the end of the game. Farazi across. Shot from Lavoie. Deflects up and out of play. Noah Lavoie has been snake bitten all night, and that continues here late in the third. The Holmes, New York native with 17 goals this season, 9 assists, 26 points. He's been great for the Rams. He's had plenty of looks and nothing to show. Farazi looking for a deflection. Got one. Save made. Tannenbaum, who is emerging as the game's #1 star so far here tonight, has been electric for Sacred Heart. Has saved his best period for this last one. Held in just barely by Farazi on that D pass from Lena. DeAndre on the near corner. Trying to spark something here for the Rams. Chris DeAndrea. Farazi. Now Lavoie, good pass across. Denied by Tannenbaum. Why not? Another great save. And that shot blocked and cleared. Empty net, by the way, for Farmingdale. So they've had a 2-man advantage for the last 30 seconds that I missed while calling the action. And the potential to ice the game in its totality for Birch is blocked. Lavoie trying to go north with it. Just 14 seconds left, and an offsides is called against Farmingdale. Let's get some time back on the clock here. 14 seconds left, 14. game's outcome has been decided. Whether or not another goal will be scored is the only question that remains on a night in which Sacred Heart took the bull by the horns in period number 3 on the back of Luke Tannenbaum. And there are 0.2 seconds left in the hockey game. And there's the final buzzer. There's a bit anticlimactic, but there we go. Dominant win for Sacred Heart. And the rivalry between them and Farmingdale gets another chapter as they chirp the Rams as they head off to the ice. Hardly any Rams taking part in the handshake line. Those that are participating included LaFada, Castellano, DeAndrea. Who is that? Riberich? Yeah, Riberich, LaFarazi, Lena, and Donnie Pace. The rest of the Rams, not including Pavone, who does not engage either, never mind, in the handshake line, not present, as the Sacred Heart Pioneers roll over the Rams 4-1. And the first star of the game, at least in my book, has to be the Shoreham native, formerly of Ward Melville in the Suffolk County High School Hockey League, Luke Tannenbaum. Oh, Tannenbaum, he was fantastic en route to a 3-goal win for the Sacred Heart Pioneers. And that'll do it for our coverage here in this one. Let's get a final score graphic up there for you folks. Let's do that real quick. There we go. And final. Yes, there it is. All right, and again, so I want to say thanks again for tuning in to LA Sports Network's coverage of ACHA M3 Hockey, Farmingdale, and Sacred Heart. On behalf of our cameraman, Frank Potato, and our producer from afar, the mysterious, my boss does not like to be named, I am Ryan Brownigan, saying so long. Until next time, as always, folks, have a good night.